Welcome, CDS Sports Podcast fans, aka the 19. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Appreciate your support. Got a Cheryl Miller clip here, actually, two, but they're related to each other that I want to talk about. And I think someone like Cheryl Miller coming out and saying these things with everything we've seen going on with the W this entire year I think is huge. Is it gonna be like this huge momentum swing where we're gonna see, none of the nonsense that we've seen before? No, but I think it's an important step when it comes from someone like Cheryl Miller, who's clearly well respected, well liked, a legend in the game, has embraced Caitlin Clark. So I want to play a couple of clips for you that I think are really important with what we've seen go on this past year, I guess. So let me start with this one and play a little bit of this.
WNBA All-Star game. You spent some time with Caitlin Clark.
Best coaching job ever.
Best coaching job
Best
ever.
coaching job ever.
Yeah, shout out Cheryl Miller. Respect. I mean, for those who don't remember, obviously that was the All Stars with Caitlin Clark taking on the Olympic team and absolutely torching them, folks.
Being around Caitlin Clark, how was the experience with her? She's such a big star. I mean, the sky's the limit for her. To be around her, just talk about the type of person she is and how much she loves the game.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my
skin.
color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised.
Mm-hmm.
And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
Right.
All right, all right. A few things to address there. First, this should go without saying, but it doesn't seem to. Cheryl Miller should never have had to experience what she experienced. I don't care what the reason is, but for her skin color, it's absolutely disgusting. Uh, and one reason I wanted to play this is because, other than all of you and, you know, YouTubers like myself, if you want to, separate us from the establishment sports media or, celebrities within the game like Cheryl Miller, I don't recall anyone alluding to the hatred, or as Cheryl said, that, despising Caitlin Clark for her skin color. Now, just to separate, then she went on about brought some of it on herself. And I've said this before, but I always want to make that clear. Yeah, cockiness, confidence, a little bit of swagger on the court. I have no problem with it, and I have no problem with pushback on that specifically. No problem at all. But what she said earlier on is just it's like I said, it's disgusting that Cheryl Miller went through that. We all know it. We all saw it all season long with the WNBA, even though they absolutely refuse to acknowledge it. But the fact is, a lot of the WNBA. Now, look, we know there are multiple reasons, all kind of intertwined. There was a lot of jealousy just for Caitlin having all the fans that she did, and all these other players never did, right? A lot of jealousy for that. And then add in skin color and other things, she had Caitlin Clark had strikes against her. She played the game in a way no one else had, which made her entertaining, which brought on fans that none of the other players had. She has a canning issue that could be a problem. She has a preference issue that could be a problem. She didn't speak out on certain issues the way they would want, which is also a problem. But I know we've talked about it before, but I just thought this was so important to hear this from Cheryl Miller. And then again, she went on, again, what also important to talk about the media narrative and finding out that, you know what, that isn't true, which is something I believe we've all been saying for quite a while. It's absolutely bizarre. Thought it was really cool for Cheryl to say it. And then one other thing, I'm just going to add it to this video because I think it's important as well. As there's another little clip here where that's related to this, but it's just something we've all talked about before, but it's interesting with the CBA coming up. So let's listen to Cheryl just talking about the respect for Caitlin Clark and not just for her game.
Um, well, some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of
You know
hard,
what?
right?
And I used and Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes.
Yes.
But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time,
the same
sometimes
work.
maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given. But look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So, with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody
to do
now
with
has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a seat. So that's the only thing. And thank God I don't listen to, I don't follow social media, and I could really care less because I've been delivered from being a people pleaser and what you
Try more. Dummies. Absolutely 100%. It's absolutely bizarre. And this is what he said. I love the way that he phrased the question about praising her play, which some do, although not enough, but not her impact. And we've talked about this a million times, right? It was Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark and the rookie class. It was everybody. It was everybody. I saw something just the other day about the Atlanta Dream, right? Remember that? And I saw another thing about how it was, I forget how it was worded, but it was all about the Atlanta Dream, right? It was the Atlanta Dream, and it was all their fans, and that's why they were moving the game because the excitement for the Atlanta Dream that's played in a 3,500 seat arena their their entire existence. But that's why people were going to that game, and this so needs to be understood and accepted that it's Caitlin Clark is. I mean, Caitlin Clark just put a whole lot more food on the table than the WNBA has ever seen. And it will all go away if they don't handle it correctly. We all know that. You have an opportunity with Caitlin to grow the game, but you don't want to acknowledge that. She's putting more food on the table than you've ever seen, allowing you all to eat more. I mean, have these players never heard a rising tide lifts all boats? I mean, this is absolutely absurd how the players are handling it, but they still want to scream and they still want to complain and they still want to deny the impact that Caitlin Clark has out of, I think when it comes to popularity, when that like, correct me if I'm wrong with that, Steven Jackson, right? The player, yeah. They when it comes to the impact, when it comes to the fan stuff, now that they get into the ists and ism, but I think a lot of that just comes down to pure jealousy. They never had that fan base. Caitlin Clark does, and they're all up in their feels, as some people like to say. But anyway, I want to leave it there. I want to know what all of you think. Is this I think this is, like I said in another video on a different topic with Cheryl Miller. I think it's huge to hear something like this from Cheryl. I think that's really important. That may matter. That may really matter going forward. We'll see, right? Baby steps. I think we got a long way to go. As I said to people, and a few have come back to me lately in messages like, yeah, you're right. We're going to see more of it this season. It's not going to change this season in terms of the attacks on Caitlin Clark and the media and all that, and that's 100% true. But long term, baby steps. We may get there in 2, 3, 5 years where it's completely different. They fully embraced her, and the league is growing. Better players are coming in, and it's good days for everybody. We'll see if that happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, appreciate you checking this out. I will like, comment, subscribe. I almost forgot to say that. Come on, we're like 8 subscribers away from 11,400. Come on, go ahead, do it. Do it. Hit it. Hit it. I'll talk to you later.